Hey y'all, what's happening? Mr. Swaim here, making this video for my 4th and 5th grade students, anybody else that's watching it. First off, I'd like to show you, I guess what my point in this video is that I've just been out here in this field doing some bush hogging, cutting down some weeds and stuff on my tractor there. And everywhere I was looking, I was seeing things that I had taught my students this year. And show you. Hopefully if you look down there, you can see that turtle hanging out down here on the river. And you can see some erosion over there. And you can also, I'm trying to make everyone aware that there's learning all around us. And so turtle, there's the river, there's some erosion. You can think about the water cycle. You can think about, I don't know, like right here on my tractor. A wheel, a simple machine. Let's see, earlier up in the sky, you know, the sun was out, but I saw the moon, and I was thinking about 4th grade, how we had learned about the phases of the moon. I don't see it right now, but I saw it earlier. And let's see, there was so much that was coming to my mind. I was just like, oh my goodness. Everywhere around me right now, outside, doing what I'm doing here, farming today, teaching from the house, teaching from the farm, everywhere I looked, there was just learning and things that I had taught my kids. Obviously, the nitrogen cycle, the carbon cycle. I've seen some rabbits out here, and then I look down and I see, I'll show you guys this. Hopefully you guys can see, there's my the instrument panel on my tractor. When I crank it up, you guys are gonna see, all right, boom, right there. Looking at my fuel gauge, all right, it's in fourths. There's fractions right there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's made in fourths. And obviously I've used 2/4 of the way, so let's reduce that. That meaning that I've got a half of a tank of diesel fuel left. And I just think about my tractor itself and the machine that it is and all the parts to it that move to make this thing do work so work can be made easier. I started thinking about history and all the inventors. And then I sat down here by the river, and I started thinking about one of my favorite Bible lessons. I've been asked before, Mr. Swaim, what's your favorite story in the Bible? And for those of you who have had me before as a teacher, hopefully you remember this, but one of my favorite stories ever in the Bible is found at the very end of Luke. And Jesus has gone back to his hometown, Nazareth, and he is in church, and he's been asked to stand up in church. I'm just kind of gonna give you the Mr. Swaim version here. He's been asked to stand up in church and read some scripture. And so he starts reading in the place of Isaiah. And basically he's reading verses about himself. And when he was reading those verses, the people were just amazed that were sitting there in church listening to him share just him reading the scripture. And then afterwards he starts explaining a little bit of history to them of some other stories in the Bible. And then he does something that I really admire. He starts speaking truth. Of course he's speaking truth. He's not a liar. He starts telling these folks that are in church that they need to get their relationship with God right. And I love that part about it, because, you know, I think for me, I think life is about having a right relationship with the Lord. It's not a perfect relationship, but it's a right one. And so he starts talking to the congregation, the people there in the church, and they didn't really want to hear it. They didn't want to hear what he was saying about, you know, reviewing some history with them and trying to just help them get a right relationship with God. And so this is one of Jesus's first times. Earlier in that chapter, he was tempted by Satan. He had been in the wilderness for 40 days. And now all of a sudden, Jesus is getting kicked out of his hometown church in a way. And Let me get some better light in there. So anyways, they end up taking Jesus. They push him out of town, and they take him to kind of the cliff that that is outside of town, and they try to throw him off the cliff. And at the end of it, it says that, you know, this whole crowd was kind of against him. It was a lot of negativity against him. And then what did Jesus do? Jesus just walked through the crowd. And there's so much in that story, but I just think about, you know, just like what's going on in life today in the world. And there's a lot of negativity out there, and there could be a lot of things, life things, that are, get down here for a second so you guys can see the turtle again. There are a lot of things that are maybe trying to push you into fear and anxiety and worry. But the encouragement, if you're still watching this, is let Jesus help you walk through those things. Let him help you walk through them. Because that's what he sometimes did. He would just walk through the negative, the bad. He would walk through it. And that's what I got from that today. I've read that scripture several times, but when I'm faced with fear, worry, doubt, anxiety, stress, whatever it is, negativity, I need to just ask Jesus to help me walk through that, because I know that this isn't a perfect world. There's going to be trouble, but Jesus wants to help me and everybody else out there walk right through that. So I appreciate you guys getting a little bit of everything. I tried to incorporate all subjects in there. I appreciate it. Impacting thousands of lives.